When you walk through a building, have you ever stopped to notice the little things, like how wide a hallway is, what kind of door is on a staircase, or even a specific sign in the parking lot? Well, it turns out none of that is random. It's all part of an invisible blueprint, one that's designed with a single purpose: to save your life. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that blueprint.
And why does this blueprint even exist? Well, it's because of headlines like this one. Headlines we all hope we never have to read. When a fire breaks out in a high-rise building, the stakes are unbelievably high. Every single second and every single design choice really matters.
In response to that threat, authorities create documents that they look like this. The Code of Practice for Fire Safety. I know, a government codebook sounds like a total snooze fest, right? But trust me, this is anything but boring. Think of it less as a rule book and more as a collection of lessons. Hard lessons, learned from tragedy, and engineered to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So let's dive into this blueprint for survival and start to understand the hidden code that's literally built into the walls of the world all around us.
Okay, so this whole massive, complex document really boils down to three simple ideas, three pillars. First, how do you get out? That's your means of escape. Second, how does the building itself actually fight back against the fire? That's fire containment. And third, how does help get in? That's the means of access for firefighters. We're going to break down each one.
Let's kick things off with pillar number 1, which is all about the single most important person in a fire: you. How does a building's design make sure you can get out safely? Well, it all starts with a concept called the exit route.
Now, an exit route isn't just the door you can see. No, it's the entire journey, from wherever you might be standing all the way to what's called an ultimate place of safety, like the street outside. The two key words to remember here are continuous and protected. The path can't have any breaks, and it has to be shielded from the fire. Let's walk through it. The whole journey is planned out in a sequence. You start where you are, you move into a special corridor that's built to resist fire, then you enter a protected staircase, which finally leads you out to safety. Every single one of these steps is intentional. But here's where it gets really clever. The code isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It knows that a packed cinema is totally different from a quiet office block, which is different from your apartment. The risks are different, the number of people is different, so the rules have to adapt. Check this out. This is how architects figure out how many people a building needs to be ready for. It's called an occupancy factor. And just look at the difference here. It's wild. For your apartment, the code assumes about 9 square meters for every person. But in a crowded cinema lobby, it's just half a square meter. That one number changes everything: how wide the hallways need to be, how many exit stairs you need, the whole shebang. All right, on to our second pillar, fire containment. This is where the building stops being just a passive structure and actually becomes an active player in keeping you safe. It's designed to fight the fire head on, to buy you that precious time. And there are two main ways it does this. You've got your passive provisions. Think of these as the silent guardians. Fire-resistant walls, special doors. They're always on, always working to keep a fire boxed in. Then you have the active provisions. These are the systems that spring into action when there's trouble: your sprinklers, your alarms, your smoke detectors. A truly safe building needs both of these working together perfectly. So, what's the goal here? Well, obviously you want to stop the fire and smoke from spreading. But just as important, the building has to maintain its structural integrity. In other words, it has to not collapse. This is crucial. It gives everyone time to evacuate, and it gives the firefighters a stable building to enter and work in when they arrive. And that brings us perfectly to our third and final pillar: means of access. You see, getting everyone out is only half the battle. You have to make sure that professional help can get in as fast and as easily as possible.
And this is where something you've probably seen a million times without even thinking about it comes into play. It's called the Emergency Vehicular Access, or EVA. It's basically a special, dedicated route that's designed to be wide enough, strong enough, and most importantly, clear enough for a huge, heavy fire truck to use. So, have you ever noticed a sign like this at the entrance to a big apartment complex or a shopping center? This isn't just a helpful map for visitors. It's the first clue for a fire crew, showing them the exact, pre-planned route they need to take.
And then, as they follow that route, they'll see these directional signs along the way. In the middle of all the chaos of an emergency, these signs make sure there's zero confusion. The path to the fire is marked out step by step. And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle that you see every single day: that no parking sign. When you see it along a wide access road, it's not just there to be annoying or to keep things tidy. It's a critical part of the fire safety code, making sure that the emergency vehicular access, that life-saving path for the fire truck, is never, ever blocked.
So there you have it, our 3 pillars: getting you out, the building fighting back, and getting help in. But this blueprint, it's not some ancient text set in stone. It's constantly evolving, and it kind of requires your help too. The future of all this is a field called fire engineering, and it's pretty cool. Instead of just following a strict rulebook, designers now use powerful computer models to simulate everything: how a fire could spread, how smoke will fill a room, even how people will evacuate. This allows for really complex and beautiful buildings because architects can scientifically prove their designs are safe instead of just checking off boxes.
So the next time you walk into any building, your office, the mall, a friend's apartment, just take a second and look around. You're standing inside a meticulously designed system for survival. You'll start to see it now. The width of the hallway, the signs in the parking lot, every little thing has a purpose. The invisible blueprint is all around you. The building has a plan to save your life. The only question left is, do you?